Think about the thing that you want to get into, or maybe YouTube. How much of a need is there? How much value are you providing? What level of pain points are there in the business or the market that you're getting into? Need is all about just how many people want to buy the thing that you're about to produce. For a YouTuber, it's very mixed. You might think, oh, it's a low need. For example, a doctor, we could say, is a really high need, really in demand. YouTuber, in a weird way, it's a medium to high need because of how much the demand is of people who watch YouTube or content or social media or TikTok, for example. You wouldn't think that a TikToker is needed, but there kind of is because the demand is there. And let's say with YouTube, this advice which I give out is very needed. So I wouldn't say that YouTube is low need, even if it's something that's a little bit pathetic, like an entertainment YouTuber who does these challenges of, like the I tried doing this and, Mr. Beast style thing. You can still say that's a high need because people are still watching that because people need to be entertained. Of course, they should probably get educated instead, but we can say that's relatively high need. So if you're thinking about a business right now, you should be following along and asking these questions, and I'll walk you through like an actionable step in a second. Then time. And this is the one that most people actually know about. You want a business that's detached from your time so that your time has leverage. As a YouTuber, do I have a good use of time in this business? Is it detached from my time? Yes, I can make a video, and a video from 2 years ago is still making me money today. Awesome, there's high leverage on my time. For a doctor, for example, does he have high leverage on his time? Not at all. He can only work for 12 hours a day. He can't produce something that kind of does, the work for him, whereas the content does, like the video does the work for me. So he's got low usage of his time. And then finally, scale. Can you scale? Can you help or give value to hundreds or thousands or millions of people at once? As a YouTuber, you can. As a doctor, you can't. So these are just some examples. So sense. It's very interesting and it's very worthwhile for you to almost write down, if you wanted to do this, write down the letter CENTS and whatever business model you're thinking, put it against sense. Now, it does not need to be totally that every single one is checked off. For example, as a YouTuber, most of them aren't checked off. But it's just something to guide you into making a business decision. You might be wondering, what is the absolute ideal business with this sense protocol? Is there something that has yes on every single one? And there actually is. And this is probably the business which the most successful, intelligent people are getting into, but it's not one that you could probably get into, right? It's certainly not one that you should be considering as a beginner. When you're making maybe 100,000 per month, you can start to consider this. The business is making your own software. By this, I mean, for example, instead of being a YouTuber, you make YouTube. So this takes like millions of dollars. You've got a team of nerds who you've hired who are making the platform. You're making the next TikTok. You're making the next Uber. These things require a fuck ton of money, right? But for example, let's say software, like you're making your own YouTube. This is what it is. Is there control? Do you have control over the business? Yes, you actually do, because there's no one person who can just shut you down because you're making your own thing. Is there high entry? Do you have a large moat around your business? Is it hard for other people to do the same thing? Yes, of course, because it's super expensive. Is there a need for it? Yes, of course there is, because there's always a need for better technology, better apps. It's very cutthroat, but if you can be a few percentage better than Uber, after 5 years, you will take over and you will have that $1 billion market share. Is it leveraged on your time? Do you get like more output for your time? Yes, because the software will grow even when you're sleeping. And finally, is it scalable? Can 1 million people use your thing at once? Yes, they can. All 5. But that is super hard to get into. If you're thinking, oh, but I'll do it anyway, do the hard work. No. This isn't something that you can just start as like a beginner. It would be very foolish to have no experience, unless if you are maybe the software developer to begin with. If that's like the skill you've been working on for 5 years, 10 years, then go ahead. If you're more of like a skillless normal guy and you're thinking, okay, which business would make me 5K, 10K? Do not choose something like software. Once you're making 100K or 1 million per month, then you can go and make your own like TikTok or something, but that's a very big goal to move to. That was the Millionaire Fastlane, and it really did change my life. I have a video on my main channel if you want to go search how Andrew Tate got rich, and I did a video, a full length 1.5 hour video with the author of this book on his second book, and I just explained like the principles of this in a way deeper sense, and I told like some good stories. I explained how Andrew Tate may have made some money, and the author MJ DeMarco answered some questions for us. So you can just go search that on my my YouTube channel. About 2 years ago, I'm in my bedroom, opening up my laptop, and I'm about to hop onto my first coaching call, which is on an expensive rate. So I've been doing coaching before this for about a year. Coaching is where someone pays you and you just hop on like a video call to answer their questions and to give them advice. And before this point, I had charged literally £1, like $1 per hour. I was charging less than what teenagers in third world countries charge. And here I was on this day about to speak to this client named Ryan who had paid me £90. Huge. Before this, I had really started to dislike coaching because I was seeing that the clients that I had weren't really taking it super seriously. Now remember, they were paying £1 per hour. And so I'd go onto these calls, pour my life out to these guys and tell them, come on, let's hype up, rise and grind, bro. Let's go do some push-ups and, let's do this. And they just kind of like listen to what I was saying, but they wouldn't make any real progress. And I kept on hearing it, that I've got to increase my prices because that would get people better results. And it made sense. I wanted to increase my prices. I was charging far less than minimum wage, but I was scared. I was terrified. I feared the 14-year-olds on YouTube who might come in and call me a rip-off or a scammer. And so for a very long time, I really underpriced myself. It was when I read the book, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. And it really talks about how you should navigate pricing your products and services so that you make more money, but also that the person who's bought your stuff actually gets better results themselves. And it makes sense. But I was scared of doing that. So I've read this book. It says, okay, increase the prices. And I'm there on my laptop about to increase the price. And I'm literally thinking like, people are going to hate me for this. As soon as people know that I'm going to charge more for anything that I'm doing, people are going to comment online. This was when my YouTube channel was really small. But I think, I'm going to do it. Because pricing myself at £1 an hour is not good enough. And so I put in the biggest number that I can think of. I set my hourly rate to £90 an hour. And someone buys on the same day, and this was Ryan. And so I'm about to hop onto this call with Ryan, thinking that he's some like rich guy or something. And he's literally just an ordinary young man who wants to know more about fitness and mental health, and he's watched a couple of my videos. I have a pretty good call with him, but I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't expect much. Previously, I'd have good calls with people. They'd message me like, oh, well, hey, I haven't done anything that you told me to. It didn't work. I just relapsed again. And I want to get more clients. I want to make more money. And so I take my sales page where I'm selling this £90 an hour coaching, by the way, as a 23-year-old who's currently on government welfare. And I'm about to go share it on YouTube, and I press send, literally thinking, okay, I'm gonna get hate. And just as I expected, my notifications start blowing up like crazy. I hear my phone ding, ding, just start going off. And I'm literally thinking, okay, these guys, like my fans, some subscribers are commenting saying that my thing is a rip-off, that I'm overcharging, that it's a scam. These 14-year-olds are going crazy in the comments saying, look at this, everyone, he's increased his prices, it's not fair, and everything else. And when I actually look at my phone, I realize it's not messages from these 14-year-olds, it's actually messages from Ryan. And he sent me a picture. He sent me a picture of his habit tracker. And below it, he said, just checked off every single habit. I did the workout that you recommended. It was really hard, but I got through and I feel awesome. I also downloaded the meditation app and I did the 5-minute version of the daily meditation like you said. And it feels kind of nice. I understand why you meditate every single day. What's next? I was actually taken aback by this. I'm looking at his habit tracker with this unexpected feeling of fulfillment. That here is a young man who's actually taken my advice and his life has already improved and he's already on a great track. Imagine this. Imagine that there's like a young man out there who's usually got addictions and problems and pains, and suddenly he really gets onto self-improvement. And I realized that all this time it was never about the money. It was about the impact that I wanted to have on the men that I wanted to help. that the numbers in my bank account meant less to me than the ticks on Ryan's habit tracker. It was on that day that I realized that it was actually my duty to charge higher prices so that the people who did want to give me money to level up their self-improvement even more, so that they would get better results, because when someone pays, they pay attention. I want to use this section now as a very quick shameless plug. The top link of the description on this YouTube video is a link for Adonis School. I really do think it's an awesome place. It's a little bit pricey, so most people can't afford it, but if you're someone who really wants to invest in your journey to become an entrepreneur and make money online, and you want to be surrounded in a community of guys who are like you and learn how to develop your character and learn from me and 7 of the coaches I've hired, that's the top link in the description. Go there right now. The second book that's helped me to make a lot of money is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. In this book, he breaks down what exactly to sell, what exactly an offer is, because there's only 2 things you need to know to sell online, There's only 2 things to make money. It's the offer and traffic. The offer is what you're selling in exchange for money, and traffic is obviously just people going to your site and people who you've paid for advertisements or YouTube videos. It's just people, right? You need to understand the concept of offer. And once you understand that, you'll actually begin to see selling something, especially online, in a completely different way. So when you think about selling something, you think about selling a product, right? Like, for example, an ebook. When you think about selling a product, it's actually super weak. You won't sell many of that thing. If you just want to sell an ebook, you just want to sell a bathrobe, you just want to sell a bit of your coaching service, your little one-to-one coaching call, right? Because it's not the product that someone wants to buy, it's the transformation. It's not that someone wants to buy coaching. They want to buy the weight loss. They want to buy the feeling of fitting into the clothes that gets them socially validated. What I'm trying to say to you is, people don't buy your products and services, they buy the transformation. And so we think that they'll want to buy our products, but it's not exactly about the product. It's about what they really wanted. And so the idea behind this book, which really helped me, was to just destroy the idea of the singular product that you sell, and rather to sell in more of an offer package that will just help someone to get to their dream goal with you giving them so much more. And so this is the exact step that you can do, which has really helped me, and you'll want to write this down. Whatever you were planning to charge for any product or service that you've got, and if you don't have an idea right now, just think about it as your hourly rate in a job. Whatever you were planning to charge, times it by 10. Times it by 10, and then look at that number. And right now it might seem scary because you think, wait, I can't charge this much. Look at that number and now ask yourself, what could I do for this person that they would want and value for it to be worth this price? What other things could I give them? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a video editor and you normally charge, you're a video editor on Fiverr.com, so you underprice yourself and you charge £3.50 per edit. It takes you half an hour, let's say 1 hour, right? You charge $5 an hour. You're gonna be broke because charging $5 an hour is not gonna make you any real money, right? You might be 14 years old and think that's good, but you could make a lot more just by following this simple thing. How about you times it by 10? Okay, you're gonna charge $50 an hour just for video editing? No. Now you think to yourself, okay, what does the person who would want this service actually want? What does the YouTuber who would go and hire a video editor actually want? Does he just want a video editor? No, he doesn't give a fuck about hiring a video editor. What he wants is a video that performs well on YouTube, and he wants to save his time. So you start to think about these things, okay, this is the thing that the guy actually wants. Then you start to think, okay, what are 20, 50 things extra that I could give him, that I could do for him, that would help him in his goal? So you start to think, okay, well, I can edit his video, but you know what? I'm gonna tell him, I will, if you give me permission on your YouTube thing, I will log on to YouTube, I will upload it for you, I'll put the right title, description, text, I'll even make the thumbnail for you, and I'll schedule it at peak times for you, so you literally don't have to do anything. That's awesome. Now imagine the difference between this. This is the video editor who charges $5